This is Real Estate Copilot. It doesn't matter if you're a client or an agent, I can help guide you through your real estate journey. Get ready for takeoff.
Grant, you can probably relate to this. So anytime I get called on to go into a property for pictures, it's always exciting. You never know what you're going to walk into.
Yeah, that does remind me. So, well, let's see. We'll leave names out of this and addresses and stuff. Listing agents the other night walked through a house in a certain subdivision out near where I live.
Yep.
And it was pretty wild. You didn't get to go with me on this one. I wish you would.
I didn't go, but you told me about it. So.
It was a house in a very nice subdivision, that was hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was a hoarder house. And, we've seen plenty of those as we flipped over the years. But typically in the nicer neighborhoods, that's kind of a rarity. And so you walked into this house barely. It's like there were these little pathways, and it was listed at a price point that
very attractive.
It was very attractive, yeah, because you could get into a nice neighborhood at a reasonable price. And so when I got there, I had to park just down the street, way down. It was full of potential buyers. Their agents were there. Everybody was interested in this house. But you walked in, and again, it was full, but the overwhelming cat smell hit you immediately. Wow. And those are the things that you can't see in photos. Yeah. So when we talk about marketing and making spaces look good, it's always good to go see something in person.
Yeah. I was gonna say, a few years ago, you guys flipped a house, and somebody had cut a hole to the crawl space, and that was where they were.
They were their dumping grounds. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One time we walked in, and there was a house that had about 500 Dasani water bottles in the kitchen. And when I picked one of them up, I looked, and all the bottles were filled with urine.
Wah, wah, wah. The house he's talking about, most of you out there probably don't know, and maybe some of you do, but Grant Thompson and his dad have flipped a lot of houses over the years, and they've got a lot of stories, and a lot of them are pretty fun. But that house right there is the only one I've ever seen you guys buy hazmat suits for.
That's true. That's true. We suited up for that one, and man, we hauled away so many loads of trash from that place. But the guy had been living in that one, according to the neighbors, for years with no utilities on it. I'm talking no water, no heat, no power. Yeah. And when my dad, I've shared this story before on Facebook, but I'll share it real quick. My dad, I remember when we bought the house, we took possession of it. We bought it at the sheriff's sale, which is the final step of foreclosure here in Tippecanoe County. And the guy didn't get out, and so we had to basically petition the court for a writ of assistance. And so the sheriff comes out at that point to escort the guy off the property. Sheriff's beating on the door. The guy's not answering. Finally, they go in, and the door would only open up about 18 inches because it was just full of trash, And so finally, the sheriff goes in, gets the guy up. He's like laying kind of strung out on a bed. And my dad calls me, and he goes, I was in a real estate class at that time, but he goes, Grant, you wouldn't believe this place. He said, if a team of artists tried to recreate the scene in here, I don't know if they could. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, there's this vaulted ceiling in the kitchen, and there's cobwebs hanging down all the way to my chest. And he said, in the cobwebs are hundreds and hundreds of live spiders. And he said, there's a pile of eggshells, probably 1,000 eggshells just sitting on the ground. Guy had a little propane heater, and that's how he was cooking every morning. He'd crack eggshells, just throw them on the ground. And then, like I mentioned, the Dasani water bottles, that's where he was peeing. But I remember going in, and I'll leave it at this, but we had our hazmat suits on. We're carrying stuff out of the house, and the guy had this recliner that he would sit in, and me and another guy were carrying it out. And as we're doing that, there's mice scurrying out from underneath the cushions of this thing. Oh, geez. Of course, I'm a pansy, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Get me out of here, So, yeah, we've kind of seen it all.
Seen the spectrum, so.
Yeah.